All right, on the phone with me, Eric Botsford, aka Erock. I just said phone, showing how old I am. Now, if you want to hear something
Dial up.
hilarious, my website, ORM, on the bottom, it's doing that thing where it like shows you other articles you might be interested in, but I haven't quite tweaked its perfection. So it just shows up random shit. So TMX got launched in 2017,
Yeah.
and you're on the podcast with me. And it's me. This is from Tough Mudder days. And first it's uh what are the two guys' names that used to design everything at Tough Mudder?
Oh, Eli and Nolan.
Eli and Nolan come on, and they're like, "Oh, Eric is here with us as well." And I go, "Who's Eric?"
Look where
They
we've come from.
they go, "E-Rock," and I was like, "Oh, that Eric." So anyway, you came on, and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, man, it's so wild. It's what's crazy is like so much of what we're doing here at Hyrox, just so you understand too, because I know that you and I talk a lot with everybody else. We're trying to do that same thing. We're trying to bring that same. Remember the high quality broadcasts you and I used to do, all the sit downs and like working with
Yeah.
Bruno and all that stuff. I'm trying to bring that home, and we got some fun things coming up. So yeah, like how wild is that? That like we've this whole thing has evolved. I mean, Tough Mudder's done what it's done over the past few years, and now like me being over here at Hyrox and trying to basically just like grow the shit out of this thing in the middle of a pandemic is
Do
pretty.
you know anybody over at CBS?
I do know. I do. Yeah, I do still speak to CBS quite often. They are on the short list of folks that we're discussing kind of like larger deals with, but I can't really.
No,
I
no,
don't
I
want to dive in
understand.
too much.
I
Yeah.
understand. I just know that they did TMX, they do strongman, they like the space. They do
Mm-hmm.
CrossFit now too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Little CrossFit news today. Can you talk about that at
I
all?
can actually, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know much about what's going on anymore. It's all like on one hand, it's still the same folks that have been in it since I started 2008. You know what I mean? So a lot of same faces. A lot of people have moved to Boulder, which is like obviously just up the road. And I think that you're just now starting to see really just the remnants of this kind of split, this new takeover that's kind of happened. So again, I don't want to like hypothesize or whatever. But if it's so funny, the memes and the things have already started to come out are freaking awesome. I saw my buddy Dex Hopkins today posted like the best one yet. It was like the scene that they'd taken from The Office. If you don't follow him, go to Dex Hopkins Instagram and check it out.
Is it?
It's
How do you spell it? I'll go right now.
DEXHOPKINS. Dex
Well,
Hopkins. He's an animal of an athlete and just a great guy. And he just posted this thing. And again, I'm not trying to be political. It's just funny that like the
so
uh,
he's got a Will Ferrell
and
thing.
and Dwight Schrute going
You
at
know,
it.
I know Dwight Schrute personally.
I saw that post a while ago. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he's the most famous person I know. What can I say?
It,
Um,
is he
but
an
anyhow,
Atlanta? Is he an Atlanta guy?
no, he was filming something. But I
Ah,
remember I lived in LA for 10 years.
oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
So
right. When you were a comedian.
I know a handful of people, and he and Marin are the two like most famous friends I have. I just did air quotes for the audio listeners if I end up doing podcast for this. So anyway, I know those two guys. Those are my two claims to fame as
Mark Maron. You know Mark Maron?
I did an episode with Mark Marin. You haven't heard it?
No, I've never heard that. That's dope. That guy's a G.
He's the man. He's definitely the man. But yeah, dude, I've posted him about him a few times because like whenever he comes to town, we hang out. But I actually got him to do the show after like 10 years of asking. He's like, all right, fine, I'll throw you a bone. But what do you? Just let me ask you what you think. What you think him being out means for the overall community? That's kind of my curious of your thoughts. And for those that don't know about E-Rock, if this is your first time hearing him, he goes all the way back. Uh, franchise owner, gym owner. What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, yeah,
Affiliate.
affiliate owner. Yeah, yeah.
Going back to
Yes.
NorCal, '08, old days. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And quite honestly, dude, like I don't know how. I mean, obviously, there's there again at where I'm at and where we are in the fitness world. Like, there's still so many of us that are still in it, right? Like I don't want to. I hate the term like, oh, we're OG, but like it's. I mean, we've just been in the freaking fitness a long time. But honestly, I don't. I mean, obviously, there's going to be back up. People, the community's going to be like, oh my god, Dave Castro, oh my god, this is amazing. It's like what's going on internally. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to be hypothesizing. I'm sure it was just like cool, let's just move on. Dude, like, fuck it. Like, all right,
Right.
let's do it. Because honestly, like, there's from the fitness side of things. Again, yeah, like I'm doing Hyrox now, but I still try to keep up on CrossFit. CrossFit's really it's changed so much just in the past couple of years. The opens and different things, sanctionals, regionals going away, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like these young kids that I know now that probably don't even know who Dave Castro is. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what that what the community actually like, how far this goes, you know, especially with everything being so like, okay, swipe through, swipe through, swipe through. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's news. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Hyrox Chicago. Some information came out, and I thought the public statement was pretty great and pretty clear.
And that's all it is, dude. It's for all of for everybody that's like, again, like it's the same thing as we're just talking about with this Dave Castro thing. It's like people are trying to dig into it, and like, I mean, I'm looking at our customer service emails and people like blaming us, like, and I'm just like, wait, where have you been for the past like 2 years? We've been in a pandemic. Like you didn't see this coming. Like what? Yeah. So yeah, we try to be as clear as possible because that's just the rule that we get. I mean, we're just abiding by the rules. You know what I mean? Like the city says, you know, wear pink tutus. Like we're like, okay, we guess we got to wear pink tutus. Like, you know what I mean? That's just how it is.
But the funniest thing I've seen is like they just need to tell Chicago to not do their business. Like the city of Chicago, is that a dude walking around that represents the city of Chicago? And I almost wrote, and I didn't because I don't want to engage with these people, but I almost wrote because that's how business works. You just say you're not going to do the event, and everybody gets the money back. All the vendors, you know, the venue. You just bye, city. Like it's like, come on,
Yeah.
do you have half a clue of how this stuff works?
Yeah, and the one of the things that I mean, obviously, I can't help but scrolling it, and thank you to all you individuals out there that are personally thinking that this was my decision to do. I love those Instagram DMs this morning. You're spot on, guys. Yeah, exactly. I personally did it. No, it's yeah, come on, my train of thought there, but sorry. But yeah,
You're
no,
not. Wait a minute. You're not on Biden's fitness committee. I thought you were.
no. I'm pretty far from that. In fact, like we're the least political agency here at Hyrox. Like I don't want to like, you know, get anyone like misconstrued here. But yeah, no. Kind of going back to your messages or like what you've seen on your comments is we'll just cancel the event. We'll just cancel it. You know, and it's like again, for everybody out there, and I'm speaking directly to all the people that are listening to this because everybody listens to your podcast are diehard people that have been in fitness and that they go to fitness events and they're like in the community. Like, do you really think that canceling another event is the proper thing to do at this juncture in our lives?
Right.
No, dude. Like, we're an events company that's trying to like produce events, make people stoked, get people out of this freaking funk that we've been in, dude. And it's like, if that means that we got to like kind of play nice with the local rules and regulations and not like, you know, overreact, it's cool, sweet. Like, let's go party. Like, come to Chicago, let's party. Like, I'm ready. Like, yeah, you got to have now a vaccine, but okay, cool. Like, if you haven't got it, that's your choice. Like, cool, like, sweet. But that's the rules. And I don't know, maybe it's a Gen Z thing. Like, is this like a millennial thing? Like, would you, but you,
I don't know. I think there's plenty of older folks that say you can't tell me what to do.
maybe,
This
yeah.
this is what I went through with when OCRWC made it a rule, made a similar rule. And you know, I said on the video, like, it's free to get vaccinated. It's free to get these shots. So to get tested, like there's free options for all these things. And so your only option then, if you don't want that, is to say, well, you can't make me. And it's like, okay, I can't make you. And we're a private company that has rules. And these are our rules. So if you don't want to show up, you can't show up. It's pretty black and white.
Yeah, what happened with that? Like, yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that because they did that this last summer, right?
Yeah.
What ended up being like the deal at the end of the day with that? I mean, did everyone just end up showing up and having a good time?
I think there were a couple really angry people that shook their fist and said, "You'll never get my money again." And like, as we always say, let's do a follow up and see how many people do the event last year. If I could perhaps count the number of, this is the last straw, this is the last time I do X again. It's usually attached with Spartan, because Spartan does some wacky stuff, but those people always say that. And if you want to, if this is where you draw the line on your freedoms or whatever your beliefs are, cool, but like, you can't come to the event, so sorry, like that's how it goes.
Perfect. Look at how simple you just described it is exactly where we are right now.
Right. And it doesn't matter where I fall on it. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I'll give a perfect example. I am pretty gosh darn mad that they made my kids stay home from school again. Okay. This week.
Oh,
Now,
no way, really?
if
Wow.
that keeps happening, I may have to drive my kids really far to school. Now, that hasn't happened yet, but it might. Like, I can rail and be angry and shout my fists, and my wife and I bitch about it. But at the end of the day, that's the rules. And if they're going to keep doing it, maybe I take my kids out of that school because they don't care at other counties or whatever. So, but trust me, it pisses me off. But what am I going to do? Like, post angrily on Facebook and yell at everybody? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. And just to be very like candid with everybody listening, like it's certainly a bummer on my side. Like I hate to having rules thrown at me like last minute, and we're trying to again produce an event, and like again, this is a big money U.S. championship race. Like this is $25,000 on the line, like for some of these top pro athletes.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I guess the other part I would try to get people to understand is yeah, your goal is to put on events. Your goal isn't to divide your audience politically. Your goal isn't to, hey, let's see what we can do. I mean, I guess it's like people, because last year, it's like can't even remember years anymore. 2020 and 2021, like I'd be talking to Spartan and people like, why aren't they making a decision? It's like, because I had a pretty, I had inside track on a lot of people. It's like, dude, they're on the phone with these people every day, and the
literally.
rules keep changing every day, right? So, like, that's why I know at one point Joe just pulled the whole season down, because he was like, listen, they keep changing. I can't have my trucks out there and keep staff on hand and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, listen, it's a lot better than it was, but we are in, what's it called again? A worldwide pandemic. And it's probably not going to be quote unquote over. If you haven't figured out that it's not going to be over anytime soon, you got to just kind of roll with the punches. And again, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you should be happy about it, but it's the way it is, man.
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, just speaking to like talking to the venues every day, the Navy Pier yesterday, we had obviously an irate group of individuals that were like calling city officials and different things like this, and even still, like we were on the phone with Navy Pier at least 3 times yesterday, and because we had somebody who picked up the phone at Navy Pier was like, with one of these irate folks was like, okay, no, we're just doing, you have to just wear a mask. We're not enforcing the vaccine mandate. So this was some like probably 18-year-old kid who, if a Navy Pier is like, it's not just this event venue, but it's just like full, it's like an experience. There's like restaurants and everything in there or whatever. So this person who probably is like, didn't know the rules,
hundreds of thousands of square feet,
picked up and said, oh, no, we're not doing the vaccine thing. And then so that started a whole nother side of it. Yeah. So we had to call the Navy Pier back and be like, what the hell's going on here? So my point is, even the venues themselves that are still like, poor those guys, you know what I mean? They don't even have the most up-to-date information. That's how fast this shit is changing. And people just need to take a big, deep breath. Okay, understand that like we're doing the best we can. You know what I mean? And which let me put a caveat there, because I think there's probably a lot of people that heard me just say that and just said, "Well, fuck you, dude. Like you, I'm sorry. This does suck. Okay, 3, 4, 5 months you've been training hard for the U.S. Championship. You're unvaccinated. You're whatever. And now this totally messes your thing up. Believe me, dude, as an athlete for many, 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 many years, I feel you. It sucks to have your plans fucked up. Like, but dude, it's just, you said it, a worldwide pandemic, and shit is just going out the window and by the day. The cool thing is, I do believe, even though that there's like Boston has now released like that you have to be vaccinated there. Texas, good old Texas, God bless them, personal responsibility capital of the world, which I love Texas, and I found out a lot about Texas and the culture there. Love you if you're all from Texas listening. Texas is not going to probably do it, but like, I mean, and the Meadowlands is probably not going to do it. So listen, guys, there's light at the end of the tunnel at some point, but right now, Chicago is just the rule.